Well, here we are, episode 3, doing what no person has done before, watching the TV in order to figure out how to make a sandwich. I plan on finding some fuel for that van we found in that car spot, and stocking up on supplies and survival items for our house. And we do have blankets on all the windows, but I would like to get wooden plank barricades on all the different windows. I've never done barricades on windows, even though I have over 200 hours, so that's going to be a learning curve, but I'm excited to try it out. Now I'm trying something a little new here. I've picked a whole bunch of traits that I could hopefully get rid of. It's not something I've really ever explored before, but I'm going to try and do it anyway and see how that goes. I'm going to head across the road here and loot some of these buildings one by one. I feel like we should just start cleaning up the area, make things safe, and then we can go about our day. Well, this feels way too convenient. How are they waiting for me at the end of my driveway? There was no zombies around before. Unless they heard me and came over, but they just camped right at the end there. That's just perfect. Well, food and drinks are what we're after. If we find gas, that's a bonus. But for now, let's try and loot every house we can. Stomp on a few heads, and get all the gear back to base, and we'll just slowly build up from here. There we go. The lock is broken. So you want me to smash it? Is that what you want? Why is there a bunch of people around town with no gas in their cars? Well, one house down, many to go. Peanut butter and maple syrup, gonna help us mostly with our happiness. Not something I've had to deal with too much because I haven't got a whole lot of experience in Build 42, but hey, we'll get there. Close that window real quick. I don't think I could have gotten much more lucky than this. A generator in the very first house we checked. That is pretty rare. I've never actually hooked up a generator to a house before, but this is definitely going to be something we try to connect up in a future episode. But for now, I'm going to mark where it is, and we're going to keep moving. Whoa. Calm down. Not looking to get eaten just yet. Yeah! Could have been fatal if I walked down there without any light on. Ice cream? Heck yeah. Well, we've been making our way closer and closer to the van. We've got a fair amount of loot, but we're starting to get a little tired now. This is probably due to our low metabolism, so we've got to be a little careful, but we'll keep moving. Well, I've come across this vehicle. It's pretty pristine condition. I was thinking, maybe we're going to get pretty lucky here and we're going to find the key to it, but even better, we've actually found a jerry can, and to top it off, it is full of petrol. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed. We can take this, we can finally get that vehicle going and get back to base. The neighborhood was starting to fill up full of the unwanted, so I decided to just sneak around a little bit, gauge where everyone was, and try and work my way around them. I didn't want to go into too much combat. I had already gone through enough for the day, and I just wanted to get this vehicle home. Well, we finally, we're actually back at our original little safe house. The neighborhood's looking pretty empty. I think we just go straight for it. There was one zombie following me, but he seems to be preoccupied at the moment. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna get this done. Might chuck this thing in my secondary hand and pray that nothing gets in our way. Okay, well, it seems pretty quiet around here. I mean, there's a few bodies around from before, but otherwise it's pretty empty. If I can just figure out how to actually fill a car up full of gasoline without clicking 100 times, we'll be right. Alright, let's go. Finally. Oh, sorry, Mr. Zombie. The mobile library service is back in business. Let's go. Well, that's the first part of our mission done. Finally, we've got fuel, we've got a vehicle, we can cruise around, and this thing's a bit of a machine. There's that zombie I talked about earlier, he's finally caught up. But we're going to take this thing back home now and get some rest. It's been a bit of a grind, but it was worth it. And now we can begin the second step in our plan. And now that we made it back home, this whole vehicle was stacked full of different books and different gear that I collected throughout the day. So the rest of the day onwards was essentially just sorting everything into our house, making sure everything fit, everything had a use. Anything that wasn't useful was discarded, and we got everything prepped for tomorrow morning. Well, if you think I've moved houses, I wouldn't blame you. I've actually made my way into town. I'm at a little place called Jenny's Table. I believe it is a restaurant, but upstairs inside the kitchen there is a little homestead. So I've traveled into the town, sort of set myself upstairs. It's relatively safe up here. Not too many undead sort of followed me in, and we're going to make our way to the petrol station from here, and we're going to try and loot the main street. This is going to be full on because the undead have really gathered in the sort of main parts of town, as they do. Well, if you're this far into the video and you are enjoying it, a like would be amazing. And if you want to see more, I upload every now and then. So subscribing would probably be, an idea. But no, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to force you. Just remember it, right? Alright, let's get in the van and get out of here. I should mention at this point that I had used most of the fuel in the van from prior other tasks before, hence why we're going to be heading to the gas station and using the pumps to fill up an entire tank of fuel. We're gonna have to do this strategically because, well, there is a lot of zombies, a lot of undead hanging around. My plan was to just park the vehicle at the pumps and try and lead everyone away, and then do a giant loop and come back in. After not running them over and actually taking them on in hand-to-hand combat, we finally cleared the gas station. This finally gave us the chance to actually loot the gas station and get a ton of really good items. For those of you who might be new to Project Zomboid, the gas station has a lot of different food that doesn't really spoil. It has a lot of different drinks, and it has lots of guides and books that you can learn a lot from, or just read to get rid of boredom or sadness. This gas station as well had both a back storage area where it could also have melee weapons and other various items, also an underground area, which I think might be new. So when you do inevitably stop for fuel, you definitely want to check out every single level of this place. It is worth it. With the sun starting to set and not enough time to pack everything from the gas station into our van, I decided to explore upstairs in the homestead above the gas station and set up camp for the night. I could safely spend the night researching a whole bunch of the guides I found downstairs, doing a bit of reading, and just relaxing up before going out again in the morning. If I haven't already mentioned it, the inventive trait is insanely OP. Any item you pick up, or almost any item, allows you to research that item and create a primitive version of it. So I did spend the rest of the night doing that as well. The next morning at 7 o'clock, we woke up, headed out, cleared the area, and headed home. The van was full of gas. We had a whole lot of items that were going to help us survive a lot longer, so it was time to go home and start working on our next items. I do also have more challenges coming soon. I do plan on redoing the CDDA challenge. I know I did it in build 41, but I want to do it in build 42 as well, just to see how different it is and see if we can make a meal of it. I had actually forgotten to cover up all the different windows in the house. I thought I had everything covered, but the front and rear door weren't completely covered with sheets. So using some scissors and some clothes off the undead outside, I could actually craft myself some sheets and put those up on the windows I had missed. If it wasn't already obvious enough, this obviously stops the zombies outside seeing you and greatly reduces the chance of them walking up and start destroying the windows or doors. I don't know when I'm going to get the time to read all of these books in game. This is actually insane. Probably the most amount of books I've ever collected. I'm not a big book collector myself, but this was next level. Now, the way I usually play Project Zomboid doesn't involve me doing almost any crafting or any building, so this was a big change. But I decided to head out and start chopping down some trees in order to build some wooden barricades. And after actually spending a tiny bit of time analyzing it and trying to just make some basic tools, it actually ended up being very easy. I don't know why I'd been putting it off this long. It's very straightforward. I think the only other thing that put me off was the over-encumbrance, but that's pretty easy to manage once you have everything sorted out and a house to use. I'm doing it. I'm reading the books. I'm reading the carving books. That's one other thing I never do in this game is read. It takes way too long to read any book. But yeah, since this is going to be a long playthrough, I figured we better start doing it. I also visited the neighbor's house that was already boarded up. It had a whole bunch of logs in the basement and a whole bunch of planks on each of the windows. I think at this point I didn't really understand what I needed to do to get the ability to put up barricades. I think in my head I thought that I needed to level up my carving in order to carve the barricades, so I did spend an unusual amount of time carving random sticks in the forest. This also then led to me just randomly foraging for more sticks. I didn't feel like cutting more trees down. I think I was really off track at this point. But I also never forage. I pretty much play Project Zomboid, just moving house to house, using whatever's there and then going on to the next. I never actually survive, so yeah. I don't know, learning moment? And due to me becoming obsessed with carving for absolutely no positive reason, I then decided I needed to get wood. So I decided to head back to the logging place and see if there was more sticks on some of those piles. And this was going great until I actually got there. And then I realized there was a fair few undead around. So I decided to try and fight them. At this point, it was just getting ridiculous. I couldn't even get into the entrance of the log farming area, so I had to sort of bail. Because our character is overweight and does have a low metabolism, he really struggles to fight any sort of small groups of zombies, and these ones just didn't stop coming. We ended up getting way too exhausted and had to retreat back to our house. Why is there speed bumps all the way home? Who did this? And to make matters worse, I'm not sure how, but hordes started gathering back on the driveway, and that pile of bodies we created earlier ended up creating a speed bump, which started to degrade some of our axle, and that will become a problem later. But for now, we were back safe, and we could unload and relax. Unfortunately, not for too long. After sitting in our room and sleeping overnight, our character heard a whole bunch of undead surrounding our house, assuming they heard our vehicle pull up in the driveway. So it was time to get ready and get out there and defend our property for the first proper time. None out the back. I'm surprised no more have actually come from the backyard. That whole window is open. No one around the side? It sounded like there was a few. Where are you? Oh, here they are at the front. Destroying my gate! Come here! Don't. No. Get away. Don't mess with the gate. Still going for it. He's not interested in humans. Only metal. Clanker division. Oh, that'll teach you for busting my gate. He wasn't interested in anything else. After all that, I decided to head back to the construction site yet again to try and get some more wood so I could get my carving up. At this point, it was a lot less infected than before, which is great. I assume a lot of the zombies chased my van on the way out and had dispersed. There was just a couple stragglers to take care of, and then we were hopefully free of any bother. That's not ideal. Why are they just parked? They've just waited at the van. Wow. Smart. Alright then, let's go and deal with that. Alright, glad that's over. Finally I can actually like look around here. That was way more intense than I thought it was going to be. The carving obsession continued. Spent some time in the lumberyard just carving non-stop for no reason, assuming it was going to help me in some way when I fortified my house. Learned make drinking glass. They don't teach that one in school, kids. And that's what the inventive trait is all about. It's all about being crafty, learning stuff on the go. It's basically workplace training, learning while at work. It gets you ready for the real world. Definitely worth the -2 points it gives you. A boarded up house. Oh god. He's still trying to do the dishes. That's not how you do them, bud. Alright, well, I might let this guy try and work his way out here. Yeah, wait, you're taking way too long. I'll help. Oh god, he's fallen over. He died the way he lived. With no brain. I'm not sure what you call these buildings. The ones that are fortified but people are infected inside. I guess they were survivors at one stage but didn't quite last. There was one of these inside the lumberyard and it actually had quite a decent amount of loot, so I parked the van up and took everything from there, which included actually some woodworking tools and planks which we needed, which was awesome. It was at this moment I had the groundbreaking idea of removing the planks off the fortified house, thus giving me planks to use on our own place. I didn't even realize it was this easy. So that was my next plan. I was just going to steal the stuff from this place and go put it on my own house. They didn't need it anymore, so why not? I also just spent a bit of time here retrieving all their items. They had a lot of food and survival weapons, so I decided to take them all. They were really well stocked. I'm not really sure how they got infected. Maybe they let someone in before boarding everything up, and then that's when things went downhill. I don't know, but I don't know. Shame to be them. I've just not long got back and have heard a whole bunch. Oh yeah, whole horde or a mini horde or a mini group of zombies come over. So let's take care of them. Okay, so after going in circles a million times over, turns out all I really need to do these barricades are nails and 3 planks of wood. And, well, this could have been done a lot quicker if I knew what I was doing, but now we know. So I'm getting this gear into my backpack, sawing up some planks, and we're going to go and reinforce all these windows and hopefully do something about this back door, because I can't actually attach a sheet to it. I don't know why, but we'll have to figure out something for that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Back door is going to be the first thing reinforced since I can't attach any sheets to it. Let's go. Look at this guy hit that nail. Into that wood. 1 done. Let's make it 3 for good luck. I can't believe this is the first time I've ever done this. This was so simple in the end. I can't believe it took me so long to get this done. I think I made a bit of a meal of it. But goddamn, that looks good. It's beautiful. It's perfect. No zombies are getting through that. I mean, I hope they can't just smash the window and get through, but I'm going to assume that wood will stop them. Beautiful. Alright, let's try and get the rest of these windows done and call it a night. So I've actually found, I think, a solution for the door. The planks are not actually needed. Let's just see. Oh, yes. Okay, this is massive. I really didn't think I was able to completely block this, but now with this in place, no zombies can see in, and it's insanely reinforced. Alright, I've gone ahead and done all of the windows. As you can kind of see on this side, there are wooden planks, 3 on every side. It took quite a while to saw them all up and move them, but it is looking perfect. I've got just about every window done. This thing is looking sweet. If you like this video, guys, and you want to see more, make sure you smash the like button. If you want to see more from me, even hit subscribe. It really does help. Hopefully this video gets a few views and I can keep working on this series. But until next time, guys, have a great one, keep surviving, and I'll see you next time.